Hey, I'm Eric Meyer with South Texas Sport Board. I'm joined today by Rachel Castro with San Antonio Can Academy. Now, Rachel, I have to say that when you and I met, your last name was Downey.
Yes.
And so every time I go to say your name, my brain goes Downey.
Yes.
So we met in probably 2014.
I think so.
And you were on the management team at one of the branches of the YMCA.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I was on the advisory board of that YMCA. So that's how we met, but then you ended up coming here when?
It was August of 2016.
2016. Okay, so you've been here for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
And so San Antonio Can Academy is part of Texans Can charter school system?
Yeah, so...
tell us about that a little
Sure,
bit.
yeah. So Texans Can Academy San Antonio is a part of a charter school network, Texans Can Academies.
Okay.
We have a campus here in San Antonio that's been operating for 20 years.
Okay.
We were actually one of the first charter schools to be chartered in Texas
Really?
back in 1998, yeah.
Huh.
And so we have campuses here in San Antonio, Houston, Austin, Fort Worth, and Dallas.
But this is the only campus in San Antonio.
That's correct.
Okay, so has the school been on this property that long?
It actually hasn't. So, like I said, we started operations about 20 years ago
Right.
in a very small building that was formerly a church.
Okay.
Not too far from here, and it had about 4 to 6 rooms that I've been told.
Okay.
And so, then, not too long, I think we operated from there for about 5 years before the building that we're in now became available and we were able to purchase it.
Okay, and this had been a Catholic school.
It was
Okay.
St. Francis Girls Academy,
Okay.
which if you're from San Antonio, has a lot of rich history.
Okay. Yeah, so back in San Antonio, the Catholic high schools, well, actually Catholic schools, you had the boys' school and the girls' school. Today they're merged.
Correct.
But yeah. So you guys took occupancy of this building 5 or 6 years? No. 5 years after you start. So about,
Sure.
I'm losing track.
So
Okay.
Probably about 15 years ago.
15 years ago, you took possession of the building. And at the time, so I first came out here around 2017. It was the principal at the time, Mark. Is he still with you guys?
No.
Okay, so Mark invited me out and needed a price on a gym floor because at the time you guys didn't actually have a gym floor, it was a vinyl floor. So it was real slick, it was hard, it didn't absorb energy, just not really good for sports. And so he needed some pricing for that, and we got that done. But along the way, I guess it was decided that the gym just needed sort of a full remodel.
Sure.
Yeah, so you guys hired a general contractor, and then I came back in the picture a couple years later. I think it was late 2018, early 2019, where we actually put in the floor.
Yes.
And we're here today, 3 years later,
Yep.
because we're adding some volleyball sleeves.
Yep.
Yeah, so the way the gym was designed, there was one volleyball court in the middle, but
Correct.
there's room to have this cross-court design where you can have 2 courts and get better use of the gym.
Correct.
So the floor's been in for a little over 3 years, approaching 3.5 years. Part of that time, you guys were doing distance learning. We had the whole pandemic thing. There wasn't a lot of people on campus. But now that you've been back on campus, and you had a year in here before that.
Correct.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the use of the gym. Because you guys do a lot in this space that's not just athletics.
Yeah, so it really is like a multi-purpose area for us.
Okay.
So we do have athletic teams. We have girls volleyball, we have boys and girls basketball. So we have teams that our students can try out for. They
Okay.
go to practice. We host games with the Texas Charter League
Okay.
Association.
Okay.
And so, but also we use the space for professional development, for our graduation ceremonies, for large like job fairs or college fairs,
Okay.
resource fairs.
Okay.
And so it really does serve more purposes for us
Okay.
than just our athletics program.
It's not just the gym. Yeah.
Correct.
Do you guys do any food services in here, or do you have a separate cafeteria? Right?
We have a cafeteria
Okay.
for food service.
Okay. So, but going into the future, you're potentially thinking about trying to use the gym to invite others into the school.
Sure. So with our history in South Texas for Texans Can Academies, we've never really done a lot of advertising. So our students come to us, they arrive here generally because they were referred.
Okay.
All word of mouth.
Okay.
And so we want the community to know who we are and that we are a resource for them. So one of the ways we've thought about doing that is doing some sort of community outreach by inviting other organizations who have a need for a space like this,
Right.
And don't have access to one, an opportunity to partner with Texans Can Academies and come use our space.
Awesome. So that could be a YMCA, a Boys and Girls Club. That could be maybe a private basketball, volleyball team that's looking for a space to train potentially at some point.
Yeah, so it could be youth sports leagues like the Y
Okay.
that don't have their own gym facilities or
Okay.
just need more,
yeah.
so they can have practices and they can hold games.
Okay.
But it could also be if you are a private basketball club or volleyball club
Okay.
and you need a space to practice, you could practice here.
Okay.
And then also we're hoping that we might perhaps be able to offer our space for camps like during school breaks and summer breaks,
Okay.
and also for tournaments as well.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and on the tournament side, it'll be nice to have those 2 volleyball courts
Yes.
because you can play 2 games at once.
Yes.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of great plans. Now you're the development director for this facility here, San Antonio.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess in your mind, you're trying to figure out. You have enrollment right now of how many kids?
It's around 300.
About 300 students, but you have capacity for quite a bit more, for 600?
Yes, we have capacity
Yeah.
for 600 with our property.
So some of this then, I guess, is geared toward, like you said, to get more people in to learn about the campus and potentially enroll.
Yes.
Yeah. And what grade levels are you guys doing?
So we are high school, so
Okay.
we're 9th through 12th grade,
Okay.
but we serve students age 14 to 21.
Okay.
So we are designated as a dropout recovery school,
Okay.
which means if you are currently enrolled in a school somewhere, but you're behind, you can come here and catch up.
Okay.
If you've dropped out, even if you've been out for a year or two, which we have students who have been in that situation, you can enroll with us. At the
Okay.
same time, though, we do have students who come straight from 8th grade. And typically that's because they've had a family member come through the program,
Okay.
and they like the smaller campus, they like
Okay.
the half day, and the personal attention. So they just come straight from 8th grade,
Okay.
and that's fine as well. And also, we take students, like I said, to 21. So a lot of times those older students are worried because they think, oh, I'm 19, I'm 20, you know, it's too late for me. It's
Right.
not. We can take them all the way up to 21 to get a high school diploma.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of the students that are coming from 8th grade are coming from the nearby public school system.
Yeah, so we are chartered to serve any resident in Bexar County.
Oh.
So we do have students who travel from, Northside School
Wow,
District,
okay.
East Central,
Okay,
Judson.
okay.
The majority of our students do come from the immediate community. So I would say like Harlandale, South
Okay.
San, SAISD.
So you guys are in Texas. If anybody seeing this video outside of San Antonio or even in San Antonio wants to get more information, I guess your website, what's your website?
Yeah, so it's www.texanscan.org.
texanscan.org. So I'll put a link in the description of the video, so if
Yes.
anybody wants to check that out, they can. And if someone wants to potentially get information about using the gym, would they call the school directly and ask for you?
Yes, ask for
Okay.
me, ask for Rachel Castro, and I will help them.
Okay, awesome. And so hopefully you'll be able to kick that off this summer. Is that kind of the idea?
The idea is that we would do that this summer and definitely by the start of next school year.
Well, I'm really enthused about that because I get a lot of calls for people that are looking for an open gym.
Yes.
They're looking to rent a court for an hour, twice a week for training or whatever. And this is nice to have this great resource. And of course, you guys have Sport Court,
Yes.
which is the safest floor in the world. So that's the other benefit to
Yes.
people coming here is reduced injury risk.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the time to kind of give me a little bit of feedback on how you guys are using the school. It's important to me for people to understand that Sport Court is a multi-purpose floor.
Yes.
You can put tables and chairs on it. It's very durable. There are some weight load restrictions like with any athletic floor. And I know we've talked about some of that. But it's a very durable, long-lasting floor. And so my hope is that you guys are able to enjoy this surface for a good 25, 30 years. Because it's important to me that you not only have a safe environment, but you also have a long-lasting, fiscally responsible surface that's going to provide years of benefit.
Oh yes, and so far we have just been so thrilled with the Sport Court. It's kind of like a hidden gem here on the south side, and folks
It is.
come in and they see our gym and they're just so shocked, and it's so beautiful. But not only that, it was one of the most affordable options we could have gone with.
Absolutely.
And the maintenance is so easy, which is always important. And so, yeah, we are fans of Sport Court, and so glad that we have that here.
Well, I'm glad you do too. And I know that some of the schools in this area don't actually have any sort of gym floor at all. They're dealing with bare concrete, or they're dealing with a vinyl floor that doesn't have the proper traction or proper energy absorption. You know, whether it's a first grader or a 12th grader or an adult playing on it, there's a lot of injury risks with those surfaces. So it's great that you guys have this.
Yes.
Well, thanks for giving me the time and giving me a little bit of information. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. God bless.
Thank you, Eric.
To learn more about our products and services, please visit southtexassportcourt.com. Sport Court is a registered trademark. Various design characteristics of products manufactured by Sport Court are either patented or have patents pending. Though other products in the marketplace may look similar to Sport Court, these knockoff products do not provide the energy-absorbing safety benefits, longevity, quality, or value that is provided by Sport Court surfacing and related products.